So this is the final video with this little horse Boaz, and teaching a horse how to be caught. You recall at the end of the second video I told you that I realized that his catching problem was actually a problem with his head, that he just didn't like having his head and neck touched. So, and I apologize, I didn't get everything on video, I just didn't have a cameraman. So I've had 2 sessions with him since the last video. And what I did in the next session is I just put him in this little enclosure here, and I actually closed that all the way in the beginning. And I just came in here and started messing with his head. And in the beginning, he wouldn't let me do that. He just turned his head away. But I just kept having him move his hip like this, because I had taught him, remember, to move his hip like that. So I just kept having him face me back like this. And he would try to pull his head away from me. And I just kept moving with him and just doing this right here. And just rubbing. And see, even still, it's bothering him a little. Just like this, and just, so basically just like that. And I'd have him move his hip back, there. And then I'd rub him. And I did that on day 3, I did that about probably 20 or 30 minutes. Just doing this right here. Just rubbing him, because he was just nervous for who knows what reason. You know, I think horses are kind of like people. A lot of times they imagine bad things that have never happened or never going to happen. But for whatever reason, he just really didn't like this. And he's still not real comfortable with it. But you can see he's a lot better. He's a lot better, aren't you, little buddy? Yeah, he's a lot better. Okay. And then the 4th day, which would have been yesterday, so I didn't put a rope on him. And then on the 4th day, I put a halter and lead rope on him and just worked him with a halter and lead rope, as far as just yielding his hindquarters, bringing him to me, you know, just working on some of that. And he picked up on it really, really well. So I think we've pretty much got the problem solved. And the other thing I did is I fed him some treats. I've never been a big believer in feeding horses treats, especially a horse that's trained, because a lot of times I think it spoils them. But I will make an exception with this, where you have a horse that's just not sure he can trust you, just not sure he wants to be around you. So, you know, in that kind of situation, I keep a few treats, and if I can help him to see that hanging out with me is probably a good thing, then I'll reward him for coming to me by just giving him a treat. You want to do that, bud? You want to do that? Okay. So what I'm going to do is just ask him to go out into the bigger round pen here. And he did. And you see, he's already wanting to turn back to me, and I like that. Beautiful. Beautiful. That's really the key. And I told you in the other videos, pressure and release, pressure and release. But when you get that horse where he's always going to turn and face you, which is what you want, then you've pretty much got the problem fixed. If he'll always turn and face you, okay, so let me just ask him to go out this way. Go this way. If he'll always turn around when you ask him to and do that right there, then you've pretty much fixed your catching problem. So this is Delaz Lindsay, and he's a good friend of mine and a professional trainer from Bloomfield, New Mexico. As it happens, he came over to visit this weekend. And a lot of this I learned from Delaz. He's really good at the release. So just watch how he works with Boaz here. He's really good at releasing the slightest little move that horse makes toward him. Watch how he backs up. So I told you this on the first video. The better your timing, the quicker this works. And see how good Delaz's timing is. And he works primarily these days with BLM Mustangs, gentling wild horses. So he's got a lot of practice and is really good at this. So you see how that horse is responding. This is how you teach the horse to want to be caught.